Bishop Noel Jones left people completely stunned when he finally said the words that no one expected to hear: "I divorced." You won't believe how heavy those two words sounded coming from a man who had always kept his personal life a mystery. For years, there had been whispers, silent conversations in church pews, and gossip in media circles, but nobody had ever heard him admit it directly. Let me tell you, when he finally spoke out, it was more than just a confession. It was like opening a door that had been locked for decades. The moment spread like fire, leaving people shocked, confused, and hungry to know the real story behind it. This is how everything started to unravel. Bishop Noel Jones was not an ordinary pastor. He was one of the most recognized names in the church world. As the senior pastor of the City of Refuge Church in California, he became known for his fiery sermons, his ability to connect the Bible with real life, and his bold personality that often attracted both admiration and criticism. People followed him not just in America, but across the world. His church grew from a few hundred members to thousands. His voice reached millions through television, radio, and later social media. But while his public ministry was shining brighter than ever, behind closed doors, his personal story was taking a very different shape. And here is the shocking part. While he stood before thousands giving them hope, inside his own home, he was quietly facing struggles that no one could see. Most pastors proudly displayed their families, bringing their wives on stage, using their marriages as a symbol of unity and strength. It was almost expected that a pastor's personal life would look perfect, a mirror image of the words they preached. But with Bishop Noel Jones, things always looked different. He kept his personal life unusually private. He did not parade a wife in front of the congregation. He did not openly talk about his marriage, and he left people wondering if he was single, secretly married, or hiding some truth. What makes this story different is that it wasn't just his silence, it was the length of it. For decades, the questions never stopped and the answers never came. The silence fueled endless gossip. People asked, is his commitment to ministry destroying his personal life? Others claimed he avoided talking about marriage because he knew it would spark controversy. And still others whispered, maybe he's hiding something bigger than anyone realizes. The craziest part is that while these questions kept swirling, Noel Jones carried on with his ministry like nothing was wrong. He preached powerfully. He traveled the world. He appeared on television and even in reality shows. But the mystery never faded. In fact, it grew bigger with every passing year. His congregation admired him for his spiritual strength, but they also demanded answers. His critics attacked him, using his silence as proof that something was wrong. And yet, for so long, he said nothing. He let the rumors grow, he let the gossip spread, but he held his private life close to his chest until that day came. The day he finally broke his silence and admitted, I divorced. Destiny took an unexpected turn at that moment. The same man who had guided thousands, the same man who had been placed on a pedestal as a spiritual giant, was now revealing that he too had faced heartbreak. He too had lost something that people thought every pastor should protect at all costs, a marriage. His words did not just confirm the whispers. They changed the way people saw him forever. To some, it made him human, someone they could relate to. To others, it made him weaker, someone who had failed to live up to the standards he preached. To understand why Bishop Noel Jones finally said, I divorced, we have to step deeper into the pressures and struggles that surrounded his life. You won't believe how much weight he carried on his shoulders every single day. He was not just any preacher. He was the leader of a megachurch with more than 17,000 members. Imagine the responsibility of being a spiritual father to thousands while also being seen as a public figure on television and social media. Let me tell you, the spotlight looked glamorous from the outside, but behind the curtain, the pressure was crushing. This is how the cracks in his personal life began to form. Ministry was not a job for him. It was his entire life. He was constantly preparing sermons, attending church programs, counseling people in crisis, and traveling to speak at events across the world. His time was consumed by the pulpit. His energy was poured into his church, and his focus was always on the needs of the congregation. But here is the shocking part. When ministry takes everything from a man, what is left for his marriage? Many close to him believe that his marriage was slowly drowning under the weight of his calling. His wife, as people said, often felt like she was not married to a man, but to the church itself. The same qualities that made Noel Jones a powerful leader in the pulpit, his strong personality, his commanding voice, his confidence, sometimes worked against him in private life. In marriage, leadership looks different. It requires patience, compromise, and humility. But in the eyes of many, Bishop Jones was a man who was always leading, always commanding, always in charge. And what makes this story different is that the same strength that inspired his congregation often became weakness inside his home. Arguments grew heavier, misunderstandings grew deeper, and the silence between them became louder with time. The craziest part is that all of this was happening while the outside world saw him as a man who had everything together. People were praising him, quoting his sermons, and celebrating his influence. But behind the scenes, his personal life was unraveling. Destiny took an unexpected turn when those small cracks finally widened into a break that could not be repaired. Insiders close to him said it was not one dramatic fight or one explosive event. It was years of unspoken pain that built up until there was no way back. And think about the risk he faced. Divorce for an ordinary person is painful, but divorce for a pastor of his level is almost unbearable. The church world often places impossible standards on leaders. They are expected to be perfect not only in preaching, but also in their marriages, their families, and their private lives. So when Bishop Noel Jones finally admitted his marriage had ended, he knew he was not just confessing to personal pain. He was stepping into judgment, criticism, and maybe even the collapse of his credibility. But here is the shocking part. Even though he knew the backlash would be massive, he chose to tell the truth. And when he did, it did not just affect his own life. It set off a storm in the church world that nobody could ignore. Because if a man like Bishop Noel Jones could face divorce, it raised a bigger question. How many other leaders were silently carrying the same hidden battles? When Bishop Noel Jones finally revealed his truth, the reaction was nothing short of explosive. You won't believe how fast the news spread. Within hours, church members were whispering, social media was buzzing, and people everywhere were asking the same question. How could this happen? The man who preached about faith, family, and commitment was now admitting that his own marriage had collapsed. For many, it was like the ground shook beneath their feet.